Hey y'all, I'm Hannah Mae. I've been attending Breezewood for a little over 2 years now. I just wanted to share with y'all a bit of my testimony and a miracle that God has done for me. At the beginning of this year, maybe 7 months ago, I started struggling with intense back pain. At work I stand all day, and it had begun to take a toll on my job. It was hard to stay asleep at night, and I stayed exhausted during the day. At certain times, the pain made it hard to even take deep breaths, and even keeping my concentration was a struggle. At the beginning of the sermon on July 4th, Pastor Bill asked a series of questions revolved around healing and what kind of healing we needed. Ironically enough, I didn't even stand when he asked about physical healing. I stood when he asked about needing God to free you from a certain struggle in life, whatever it may be. So there was already a plot twist, because as he started to pray for healing in every area, I felt heat coming from my lower back where my pain was. It was distinct enough that I had to reach around with my hand to make sure nothing was touching me. After the prayer ended and we all sat down, it took me a few minutes before it dawned on me that I didn't feel any pain in my back, which was a huge deal because before I couldn't sit, stand, or lay down without pain. I was so confused and kept thinking, did that really just happen? But I knew it was real because the only time I experienced any relief for short periods of time was right after my many chiropractor appointments. And even then, the relief only lasted for maybe a day or two. Well, it's been over a month now, and my back is still better than it's been in a long time. Honestly, the only time I feel any pain is when I act a fool at the gym or strain it on my own. But even then, it feels fine after a day or two. I've been able to sleep better at night and work more efficiently at my job. But what meant more to me on the day my back was healed was the fact that I was able to closely concentrate on what the Holy Spirit was saying to me through Pastor Bill. In the message, he mentioned Galatians 5:1, which says, "Stand firm in the freedom wherewith Christ has made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage." In a nutshell, he explained how we find freedom through Jesus and how important it is to not go back to where we once were. That message was so powerful to me because just 2 years ago, around the same time I started attending Breezewood, I'd gone through a situation that had triggered childhood trauma I had suppressed and past pain that I had been carrying. During that time, I didn't know if I had ever genuinely smile again. I went down a dark path, drinking excessive amounts of alcohol every night to numb how I felt, calling myself awful names, desperately seeking approval from others, and running from God. I had struggled with all of these things for years already, but during this time, it had intensified until one day I didn't even recognize the person I saw in the mirror. It was one of the darkest seasons I have ever experienced, and it felt like every area of my life was falling apart. Even though I didn't necessarily want to seek God, I kept attending Breezewood, sparingly at first. Most Sundays I'd show up either still tipsy from the night before or hungover. But that's just how full of grace our God is, because even in the middle of my mess, He still welcomed me in His presence, and I felt Him the most every time I walked into the doors here at Breezewood. After a while, I finally made the decision to get therapy, stop blaming everyone else for my lack of healing, and I even joined a small group here at church. Now, over 2 years later, I am 1 year and 8 months free from the need of alcohol. I have accumulated some of the strongest friendships with the most kind-hearted, genuine women, and I serve on the praise team here at Breezewood. After intentionally seeking Christ to heal the trauma from childhood to adulthood, I now no longer look for validation through other people. I look to Jesus. I've learned that He is where my worth and my hope are found. I've seen His mercy, grace, and unconditional love over and over again. And while I still have my hard days, I still laugh more than I cry. And the hope that I have found in Jesus far outweighs the fear that used to chain me down. So in the same sermon that God healed my back, He also reminded me of all the other places He healed in me and how important it is that I don't turn back, because He is not done with me yet, and He's not done with you. For He who started a good work in me will be faithful to complete it, and the best is yet to be.